Hi, everybody. Welcome back to sweptmedia here at the convergence of AI and Web3. Today, we are going to look at Daniele Sesta. Now, that name may ring a bell to some of you, and to others of you, you may not know who he is, in which case I would be kind of surprised. Um, this guy is a relic from a time long past, or I should say a legend from a golden era of DeFi and building on the block space. Or we could talk about him as a visionary builder. However, you want to characterize Daniele Sesta, you will have an opinion about him once you learn more about him. Um, my opinion on him is irrelevant, although I will say that I tend to lean towards him, seeing him as a very influential and consequential builder in the space who's done a lot of really good things. But you can't be this involved in on-chain dealings and DeFi, the kind of stuff that he has historically been involved in crypto, without being involved with other unsavory types of people. That's just the matter of the fact. I don't think that he's done anything overly malicious uh, or extractive from the space. He's always been a net positive. But you're free to disagree with me. It really doesn't matter. I think the point here is that he's back with trying, I guess you could call it, he calls it his revenge arc. I would call it a redemption arc after what happened with Wonderland and Sifu, which we'll talk about in a second. But this is where he's at now. He wants to talk about DeFi. If there's one thing that you can say about Danny Sesta, it's that he is an excellent marketer. He knows his audience because he is his audience, and he knows how to speak to his audience. English isn't even his first language, which is even more incredible. He just released an article called DeFi, that's spelled DeFai, the AI driven revolution that will finally democratize decentralized finance. And so, like I said, he's been a builder on chain, generally speaking, more broadly about DeFi, decentralized finance. And this is his latest addition to the space, DeFi, DeFai. So let's dig into this one. I think it's a really interesting article in terms of what vision he has for decentralized finance and AI. And it's kind of an obvious thing, but he's put it all together into one single vision. So essentially, what he says is that DeFi, it aims to make DeFi. This is going to be confusing. I'm going to have to come up with some other way to characterize this. But DeFi makes decentralized finance more user friendly and accessible by integrating AI, bits of AI. So this is the fusion of DeFi and artificial intelligence. By combining sophisticated AI-driven interfaces, autonomous smart agents, and user-friendly tool sets, DeFi tackles DeFi's biggest challenges head on. We can say that many of the challenges of DeFi from a user standpoint are in the interface. Using a block explorer is difficult. If you know how to use one moderately well, you are in the top 0.1% of people in the whole world who can use them. If you know how to make a swap on Uniswap, again, you are in a very elite group. If you know how to add liquidity and pull liquidity without getting yourself entirely wrecked, you're a power user. If you know how to trade leverage with leverage on chain, you're a master trader. You can do anything and everything else seems really slow. But that is the problem. It is not accessible. What he's saying here is AI integrations will make it more accessible. So he goes on to say that basically DeFi overcomes challenges in DeFi. That is, DeFi overcomes challenges in decentralized finance, like complexity, like I was just talking about, or I think you mentioned security around here. Security is an issue. I mean, we can see, again, this Bybit hack situation is still very hot on people's minds. And then there's just so much information that you cannot process on your own. If you've been really dug in the trenches trading, you might have Bird Eye up and Dex tools, and you got your bot, your trading bot ready to go, maybe on Telegram or somewhere else. You're probably streaming data from an API as well. that's a ton of data that you as a person have a very difficult time staying focused on. And if you are, then you're probably, I mean, realistically speaking, you're probably on some uh, performance enhancing substance, so to speak, in order to make yourself stay focused on it. But with an AI or a stack of AI tools, you can do it. It's much, much easier because the AI integrations will make it easier for you. He talks about, simple DeFi tasks like swapping tokens involve multiple steps that are intimidating for most users, like I was saying. High risk, time consuming. Again, all of these are real challenges that have not even come close to being solved yet. And he's saying that AI is the way to do it. Here's the mention of security risks, information overload, fragmented ecosystems. But now he's talking about automating this ecosystem essentially by integrating each AI as a separate, each AI integration serves as a separate app, but when they all work together, they work as a single super app, which what he's describing is similar to what AI Swarm is. I've heard people call it other things, but I think the most accessible term is AI Swarm, where they can manage DAO funds, they can manage your wallet or wallets because you don't want to have one wallet for everything. Upgrade your Web2 businesses, and get enhanced security from what's happening on chain because blockchain can be quite secure. It's just a matter of how well you build that stuff and how diversified your funds are across different wallets. An AI stack can help you do that quite a bit. So here's the stuff about DAOs and business upgrades. What else here? He talks about red teams and rigorous testing. That has to do with smart contract security. AI logic ensures the agent cannot be tricked by malicious prompts or addresses. And this is really interesting because when you think about the last video I did, which was about Jailbreak Me, they're trying to break AI. They're trying to break an LLM or break an agent to make it do things that it's not supposed to do. All of these components that we're building here in the AI space at the convergence of Web3 will be extremely consequential in and of themselves, but when you integrate them, I can see it. I get where he's coming from by calling this a super app, a single app. Think about it like your brain is one brain, but each little square centimeter of that brain has very different functions. They do many different things. If you take one bit out, it will still work, but it won't work as well. If you take one bit out of what this super app is, it will still work, but it won't work as well. And then you start opening up yourself to a lot of problems, at least based on the vision that we can see Danny's put together here. So the more complexity we add to this, the better, because it's going to be automated by AI agents themselves. I love this idea. I think that this is the direction that we've been going in for several months now, maybe even several years. The groundwork for where we are at now in terms of developing these apps has been laid over the past few years, like I said. But only now we see developers coming up with new agents all the time. Every week or so, I'm seeing some new really interesting agent that is getting developers excited. There's another one that I need to kind of get permission to talk about, but I will. I'll tell you the name maybe tomorrow. I'll make another video about it tomorrow. I'll talk about it later. But the point is that there's a lot of really great high-end development going on, very, very fast-paced stuff, which is a key indicator of an industry that is very much on the grow and is nowhere near the peak. It's just getting started here with these AI agents in Web3. And this is what Danny's saying is, yes, this stuff is happening, and this is how we're going to be able to use it. So he's adding a vision, an overarching vision, to basically the same stuff that I made this news outlet about. Swept Media is all about what Danny's talking about here, which might be why I'm so excited about it. He's put it into plain black and white how this is all going to work. New economic models, redefining finance, network adoption synergy, seamless onboarding, ongoing ecosystem growth. This is what decentralized finance promised us. but it was falling short on a number of these things, largely because of the weak accessibility. Okay, so this is where we're at with DeFi and Danny Sesta. I think that for those of you who don't know who Danny Sesta is, I should do a little rundown of his background. He's been around for several years. I mean, at least since 2020. I don't know before that, but I'm sure he was trading. He was on Binance or something in the order books, ordering with all of you guys too. Now he's behind currently. He's behind Hey Anon. I should do a video on Hey Anon too, because a lot of people are excited about that. Gemma, WAGMI, Apes Win. WAGMI is his trading platform. I'm not going to show it. I was going to, but I'm not going to. I don't want to promote his thing. I've never actually used it. It looks nice, and I'm sure it does work really well, but I'm not going to promote a trading platform on here. Essentially, I'll run down his timeline from like 2020, when I really got involved with stuff on chain and seeing how people were doing because of other work that I was doing. He was part of like Zulu Republic ZTX. That was its token, which was, I don't know exactly how the whole thing works, but essentially it was a platform empowering people in business. It was trying to put people in businesses together to create cryptocurrencies and their own organizations. I think it was related to DAO structures. So that was 2020. That was probably his first taste of community building, and he realized he was really good at it. Then he founded Wonderland, which is time token. Wonderland was this other crypto platform, essentially a DeFi project. This one was on Avalanche, and essentially you just could deposit funds there and earn yield, and it had its own token, time. Then there was Abracadabra. This one was MIM, so magical internet money. That's the stable coin, which depegged horribly as a result of Luna crashing. And then there was Popsicle Finance, which was ICE. So he's been behind a few very intense crypto projects that still have their mark on the crypto space today. He wanted to take over SushiSwap. That didn't work. Oh, that was actually a fiasco, because SushiSwap was trying to vampire Uniswap's liquidity, and to an extent was quite successful. He tried to do the same thing to SushiSwap. When SushiSwap was down, SushiSwap has never recovered from that. Then there was Solidly Swap. That was another trading platform, and I think he did that one with Andre Cronje, who is the guy who made or co-founded Phantom and now Sonic. And Sonic is doing really well. Actually, Sonic gives me old Phantom vibes. So I think, yeah, that's a good one to follow. And then there was this Frog Nation thing. I don't know what Frog Nation was about, but I do remember seeing that one around. Then it turned out that Wonderland's co-founder or someone holding money for them, maybe their treasurer, was Sifu. And if you don't know Sifu, I'm going to tell you that he's a name you should remember because he's endlessly memed. Now he stole a bunch of money from Wonderland. Then he goes out he just trades with this money that he stole. And we can see it on chain. What he's doing is his wallets are labeled. We can see when he's shorting and longing. We can see everything he's doing with the stolen money. It's really incredible. And there's actually a potential connection between Sifu and Quadriga X. I don't know if that was confirmed or not. But yeah, it was a huge fraud scheme. It was a centralized exchange in Canada. The founders were siphoning money from the exchange, and then they pretended to be dead, faked their own death. And so that actually might be Sifu. You know what? I shouldn't have said that because I might be stirring a pot that doesn't need to be stirred, but I think there is some connection between them. Then yeah, Danny has been gone since Wonderland went away, and I guess he's been building inside. I haven't heard from him for like over a year. It's been well over a year since I heard Danny Sesta, the name. So when he came up recently with Hanon and now this DeFi stuff, I was intrigued because yeah, maybe Wonderland didn't work out as well as he wanted it to, and people wanted to give Danny all the power at Wonderland. Some of the community wanted to give Danny full power to control Wonderland, but others did not. So I guess that didn't go through. But then he just started building other AI stuff in the meantime. So that's been the past, I want to say, 2 years since that happened. Long story short, Danny is a very consequential person in the space, and it's not someone who is, it's not fair to ignore him just from the standpoint that he's been so impactful in so many other ways. So when he explains this vision, I tend to see it at face value, and knowing what I know about where we're at with AI building in Web3, I think that this is actually the direction that we're going to be going, and Danny is definitely someone to be tracking as we go along on this journey. So give him a follow, and we'll catch up with Hey and Non next time.